From high-end dupes to thrift flips, wreaths, and ornaments, you are sure to be inspired with all these beautiful Christmas ideas. Plus, these Christmas crafts are made with Dollar Tree finds, so they're budget-friendly too. Now, let's get crafting on the first of many Christmas DIYs. For this first DIY, we're going to use some old boxes. I really appreciate well-constructed packaging, so I am always saving the boxes that I find that are really sturdy or have a cool shape to them. This Green Estate box lid was from some reusable makeup remover pads, and I actually used the base of this box to make this planter in a previous video. If you don't have any box lids like these, there are some good options at Dollar Tree. I love these little wooden drawers. You could use just part of the drawer. I've also found these smaller wooden cubes in the craft section at Dollar Tree. This comes in a natural wood color, but I had painted it for another project. The first thing we'll do is give these box lids a coat of flat white primer. I attached all of those together with some glue and then added a white ribbon so we can hang this on the wall. To decorate the ribbon, I used an eyeball off of the Snowman and I placed that on a fabric snowflake that I also got from Dollar Tree. I think black and white looks so sharp with Christmas greenery, so I added a little sprig of greenery behind the snowflake. For the front of the box lids, I created this joy sign. Oh, and I'll have chapters to each of the crafts in the description box below, just in case you want to come back to this video and follow along for a particular craft that you liked. And if you like these types of long videos, then make sure to give me a like, leave me a comment, and also subscribe so I'll know to make more videos like this one. So my printer did something weird here and added some stripes on the black ink, but I'm kind of digging the look. It ups the chic factor just a little bit and it looks like a black pinstripe suit, which I'm okay with. I want a torn edge just to create a little texture on this piece. First I'll try with this thin ruler. You can see the texture is really subtle. If you want more of a larger torn look, you can go with a taller ruler. The last step for this one is to use some spray mount and place the letters on the box lids. My Dollar Tree has this new $3 and $5 section. Let me know in the comments if your Dollar Tree has this also. We'll be using this cute house that I found for our next project. I spray painted the outside with that same flat white primer, and then I painted the drawer front with black acrylic paint. I attached some greenery onto the bow. I decided to keep the Pinecone off of there because I want to keep this color palette strictly black, white, and green. I have this sleigh ornament from Dollar Tree. I think it'll look so nice inside the house, so I redid the decor to match our black and white theme. I attached the bow to the top left of the house. I think this would be such a cute Christmas scene sitting out on a coffee table or entryway table. It could even work as part of a tablescape for the Christmas dining table. Now I'm getting all excited about decorating my whole house for Christmas. I have a lot of ideas this year, but I'm not going all out on that until November, so stay tuned. Here's another example of some great packaging. This was a Kleenex box made for small spaces. It is really solid and well made, so I felt bad throwing it away, and I'm going to turn it into a vase for some florals. I started with some of that same white spray paint and let that dry. I created this reindeer head, and it also printed out with those cool pinstripes, which I don't mind. Now you could trim this out and wrap the entire piece of paper around the container, but this is a simple enough design, so I'm going to be my own Cricut machine and cut this out myself. I think this came out pretty good. I'm going outside to give this a light coat of Super 77 spray mount, and I will press the design right onto the tube. I thought the reindeer needed just a little dressing up, so I put this on her so she would match our other projects. These florals are from Dollar Tree. They have just the right amount of sparkle. They're a really crisp white color that'll go nice with our sharp looking Christmas decorations. I found these mini Jenga blocks at Dollar Tree. We are going to create a wood stain with some acrylic paint and a little bit of water. We're going to use these Jenga blocks to make a frame for our nativity sign. I started by measuring out how many blocks I would need to stain. I created this printable with Bible verse Luke 2:10. I'll have that printable on my blog, artsycupcake.com. I used some Super 77 to glue this to a piece of foam core that I got at Dollar Tree. I think this black and white illustration is very simple yet elegant, and it looks great with the wood stain on those Jenga blocks. Once all the blocks were glued in place, I used the edge of the blocks as a guide to cut off the excess foam core. Now we have those white edges showing from where we cut. So I used a little bit of brown paint so that they would blend in with the wooden blocks. For the finishing touch, I put together some garland with just a few items I found at Dollar Tree. For our next project, we'll be using this stovetop cover. I have used these covers for projects in the past, and I just love them because they're metal, so they are really sturdy. I put a coat of white primer paint on, and then I taped off the section that I want to look like wood. You can create a wooden look with paint by keeping the brush strokes going in the same direction and making sure that you have several different shades of brown streaks going on in your design. This makes it look a lot more natural. While that faux wood paint was drying, I started on a large bow. I already had this buffalo check ribbon, but they had all kinds of thick wire-edged ribbon and Christmas themes over at Dollar Tree. I used a pencil to make sure I liked how the words looked on the sign, and then I went in with my oil-based Sharpie paint pen to trace over the letters. It's nice to have something to trace. It takes a lot of the pressure off rather than just going right in with that permanent marker. Now that we've attached the bow with some hot glue, we have a gorgeous farmhouse style sign that would look good on the front door or on the mantle. I think I might put mine in the kitchen, just a little throwback to this stovetop cover's past life. Next, we're making a beautiful berry red floral arrangement, and we're going to use mason jars. You can find these glass mason jars at Dollar Tree. They usually come clear, but I'm upcycling them from a previous DIY, so I'd already painted them. But I started by putting several coats of red paint to cover up the white paint. I am leaving one jar white because it will be displayed in the center of the two red ones. I found this joy ornament at Dollar Tree and thought it would be a perfect adornment to dress up the white mason jar in the middle. All the florals I'm showing are also from Dollar Tree. They had a really nice selection of Christmas florals. The Christmas stuff goes so quickly at Dollar Tree. They will probably have New Year's and Valentine's decor coming out in December, so make sure to act fast if you want to find these things at your Dollar Tree. I love birds. They always remind me of my grandma. I have these antique birds from her, and they have a prominent spot on my bookshelf over here in my home office. So when I saw this bird ornament from Pottery Barn, I knew I wanted one for myself. I started with this microfiber cloth that I found in the automotive section at Dollar Tree. I roughly drew the outline of the bird body and cut out the two sides. I sewed the sides together. Now I'm thinking about getting a small sewing machine. Does anyone have any recommendations for a beginner sewing machine? I think it would come in handy for small projects like this one. Okay, next I flipped the bird inside out and used some stuffing from an old pillow. I wanted him nice and plump, so I made sure to put a lot of stuffing in there. Then I stitched up the hole, and here we have our little bird body. You can find these dot stickers at Dollar Tree. I painted them black with a Sharpie, and I attached them to the bird as its eyes. I had this Dollar Tree garland and cut a piece off for the bird's beak. You could also use part of a stick or break a piece of a skewer off in a triangle. Whatever you have that's in the shape of a small triangle will work for the beak. I love how this bird is mixed materials. It gives him a cute but rustic look. I grabbed a few sticks off of a tree in my front yard, and I put those together to make some feet for the bird. Dollar Tree had these pine cones in a small bag, and I used them for the bird's wings. I used some of the straight sticks that I gathered to be the feather extending off of his wings. And then the last step is to add the string to his back. The hot glue sticks really well to the microfiber cloth. You just have to hold it there until it dries. I think it looks pretty close to the original. What do you think? So you could do what we did with the bird and sew the body together, but we're going to take a slightly different approach for this one. I'm starting with some floral foam and creating the shape of the reindeer's body and head. There is no measuring or specific dimensions here. I'm just eyeballing how much cloth I need to cover the foam and then attaching everything together with some hot glue. I wrapped some wooden skewers with twine, and that dollop of hot glue at the bottom is what makes it look like the reindeer's hooves. If this is the first time you're visiting my channel, thank you so much for being here. My name is Maria, and my passion is sharing ways to get creative in your home. I try to make my DIYs as simple and low cost as possible so you can be ultra inspired to make something beautiful for your home. If you love home decor and you're as obsessed with Dollar Tree as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now, and then you'll know when my next video goes up. A few finishing touches with the scarf, because every reindeer out in the wild wears a fancy plaid scarf, right? I poked a hole with my X-Acto knife and then added a bit of glue and pushed the legs into the body of the reindeer. Those antlers are just sticks that I found in my yard. A little pine cone tail, a string for hanging, and there you have it. A reindeer ornament that looks pretty close to the Pottery Barn version and at a fraction of the cost. I loved the look of this acorn with the gold sparkly top. I was laying in bed in the middle of the night thinking of how I would put this acorn together. Yes, my crafts were keeping me up at night. Is that weird? Well, here's what I came up with. I took some floral foam and carved the top and bottom parts of the acorn. I left a divot in the bottom of the top part so that the base of the acorn will fit snugly. I thought the flaky style snow was messy until I tried out this snow that's like little foam spheres. You guys, stay far, far away from this stuff. It made me hate my life for about 20 minutes. It just stuck to everything. It was terrible. So I rinsed off that nasty foam snow from the top of the acorn, and then I just did a little of the iridescent snow over the brown paint. It looks a little different than I intended, but I still got a pretty sparkly acorn like I set out to. Then I attached the two pieces together with some E6000 and hot glue. And here you have a cute little acorn ornament. Here is mine compared to the Pottery Barn one. Next, we're going to make some Mercury glass looking ornaments like these from Pottery Barn. I think they look so elegant, but I do have two cats, so I'm gonna try some plastic ones instead of some glass ones. I started with these clear ornaments that I found from Dollar Tree. They are plastic and they come in two different sizes. I had this mirror finish paint and I was excited I finally have something to use it on. I removed the tops of the ornaments and sprayed directly into the ornament. I even took it to my sink and used a paper towel over the top and shook it up really hard. And then I used a hairdryer to help to start to dry the paint. It will look kind of cloudy until the paint is completely dry, and that's when it'll get that mirror finish. I misted some water and vinegar inside when the paint was still slightly damp, and I shook this around so it had little beads inside. Then I repeated this process, letting it dry, adding more paint, and then more water and vinegar. And I also added a little gold paint in there at one point, just because I wanted more of an antique look rather than all silver. While that dries, I wanted to paint the tops of the ornaments black to look like the ones from Pottery Barn. I reassembled everything and that completed the whole look. And here is mine compared to the Pottery Barn version. It really made these $1 plastic ornaments look like glass. This ornament is so simple and elegant and reminds me of some of the ornaments that my parents had on their tree when I was growing up. Dollar Tree sells felt in a variety of colors, and we'll be using the white one for this wreath. I started by cutting the shapes out of the felt. I cut a small hole in the pieces of felt and looped them onto the mini wreath ring that I made from some floral wire. I added a few of the mini foam ornaments. These come in a large bag from Dollar Tree. I have used them on so many projects and I haven't even gotten through the first of the 2 bags that I bought. There's really a lot in there. All that's left to do is add a ribbon. You could go with the red velvet like the Pottery Barn one, or whatever color that you're using for your home decor. And here is mine compared to the Pottery Barn version. I loved the look of this white berry and pinecone wreath ornament. I knew I could make it with some of the supplies that we already used for the other ornaments. I started by taking this garland. Remember, we used this for the bird's beak earlier. I added some pine cones, some of those white foam berries, and a few of the sticks that I had gathered from outside. I just love the look of how this came out. And here is mine compared to the Pottery Barn version. What do you guys think of this one? Pretty close, right? I thought this set of 2 reindeer was the cutest for holiday decor. These are $89 at Pottery Barn, but we will be making a set of 2 for only $4. I want these reindeer to look soft and fuzzy, so I picked up this bath mat at Dollar Tree. Honestly, I thought it was a placemat when I bought it because it is so small. Or maybe I just have big feet because it definitely looked a little bit small for my footprint. But anyway, it's going to work perfectly for this project. I had also picked up this little owl and was thinking of deconstructing him to use his fur for the reindeer, but you know what? I just couldn't do it, guys. He is so cute and I want to keep him as is for my Christmas tree. I love owls, especially for fall and winter decor. They're just so adorable. I created this template for my reindeer body. I will have it on my blog as a free download. That's artsycupcake.com. I try to make my DIYs as simple and low cost as possible so you can be inspired to make something beautiful for your home. If you love home decor and you're as obsessed with Dollar Tree as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and that way you'll know when my next DIYs go up. I flipped the reindeer inside out and stuffed it with an old pillow that I had been harvesting stuffing from for a few of my projects. I sealed up the front and then I put a coat of white paint over the beige fur. I did not see a white bath mat at my Dollar Tree, but if you see one at yours, you could save yourself a step here with the painting. You will want to let these dry overnight because the paint kind of soaks into the fabric and that takes a while to dry. Next, I attached a little ribbon and some pine cones for the tail. We are going to use these wooden dowels for the legs. I first cut them to size and then I wrapped them with twine. You want the bottom of the leg to have a little bit of extra hot glue, and you want to wrap the twine around a few extra times there, and that'll make it thicker at the bottom so it'll look like the little hooves. I also put a dollop of hot glue right at the bottom just to add some friction to help the reindeer stand on a hard or slippery surface. I wanted a little contrast to the white body, so we are giving these legs a little bit of distressed black chalk paint. I think this will give the reindeer even more character. To attach these, you will want to use a lot of hot glue and really hold those legs in place until they are dry. I pushed the two legs close together because it added a little bit more stability having them connected at the base. These twigs are off a tree from my yard, and I attached them onto the heads of the reindeer with some hot glue. Okay, let's take a look at the comparison and see how much we saved. Isn't this wooden snowflake from Pottery Barn so beautiful? But it's $350. Guess how much we'll be spending? Only $7. Here are the items I found at Dollar Tree for this project. And now I'm attaching them together with some hot glue. These actually have hooks on the back, so if you position the top one with the hook at the top, it's all ready to hang. I wanted the wood texture to still come through on those blocks, but I did want them to be black to go with my black and white theme. So I did a light coat of the chalkboard paint, and they came out perfect. I started by placing the blocks without glue to make sure I liked how they were positioned. Then I used some hot glue to stick them down. I used some flat and some blocks on their side to give this piece a more dimensional look. Let's see how we did on this one. This savings is really amazing, and I think it looks pretty close to the original and pretty good for only $7. This set of 4 reindeer plates is so gorgeous. I think it would look really pretty in the kitchen or hanging in a dining room, but for almost $60, I know we can do better than that. I liked the look of these plates, but they were slightly off-white and they were kind of shiny. I think to get that chic Pottery Barn look that we're going for, I'm going to coat these with some flat white primer. We will not be eating off of these plates. They are for decorating only, so no worries about what kind of paint that you use on the plates. Once they dried, I took a toothbrush to get that splatter effect. Dip the toothbrush in some wet black paint and use your finger to scrape across the bristles while pointing the brush at the plates. This is really messy, so make sure you have enough room around you that you're not going to splatter anything, and then wash your hand right away because this paint will stick on your fingers. I think these came out so pretty. Each plate has that splattered look, but in a slightly different variation. I've got another printable here for you. I roughly recreated those little deer images. They are so small and I needed to make them a little bit chunky so that they would be easier to hand trim. First, I cut them out with an X-Acto knife, and then I used a small pair of scissors to cut as closely to the edges as I could. This will prevent the edge from showing on the plates. I used a tiny brush to add some matte Mod Podge to the back of the deer. Once that dried, I painted a little bit extra over the top, and this will just seal it in place. Let's take a look at the original compared to mine. Another awesome savings. Only $4 for the Dollar Tree plates, since I just used copy paper and paint that I already had in my house. So this was a great savings. By disassembling this Halloween wreath. Okay, now that we got the foam wreath form back to its original state, I'm going to take this white felt that I found at Dollar Tree and cut it into strips that we will wrap around the wreath form. I love adding neutral Christmas decor because it can blend in with whatever colors you have going on with your Christmas decorations. I tried to secure the edges of the felt strips all on the same side, so that will be the back, and then the front doesn't show any seams. I used this Dollar Tree ribbon to form a bow. I folded it over and then snipped little triangles from the middle, and then I tied it together with some floral wire. After I fluffed up the bow, I attached it with some hot glue to the bottom of the wreath. I had some baby's breath from Dollar Tree, and I snipped off all of the flowers. I also picked out all the white spheres from this vase filler. I started from the bottom and tried to keep things somewhat symmetrical as I went along, adding the vase filler and the baby's breath on either side. I kind of faded out towards the top and went about halfway up on each side. Then for the top, I attached a ribbon with the glue on the back. I think this white berry Christmas wreath came out so pretty and elegant. Plus, it will work all winter long since it isn't specifically decorated for Christmas. You know, I think Santa gets way too much attention. I bet Mrs. Claus is behind the scenes making Santa dinner, feeding the reindeer, and doing tons of other chores. I think Mrs. Claus deserves some love for all her hard work, so we are going to create a cute little version of Mrs. Claus from some old gift boxes. I started with her hat by cutting a piece of thick paper in a square and then rounding one of the edges. I attached some microfiber cloth to the rounded edge. If this is the first time you're visiting my channel, thank you so much for being here. My name is Maria, and my passion is sharing ways to get creative in your home. I try to make all my DIYs really simple and low cost so that you can be ultra inspired to make something beautiful for your home. If you love home decor and you're as obsessed with Dollar Tree as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you'll know when my next DIYs go up. I sealed it shut with hot glue, and then I attached a white pom-pom to the top. For Mrs. Claus's body, I'm going to flip these canisters I had decorated that were originally gift boxes, so I guess they're kind of getting flipped for a second time. The blue was great for spring, but now they get a new life as a Christmas decoration. I gave them a coat of white spray paint, and I attached them together. Then I popped the hat on the top. I created some glasses from floral wire, and then I added some pink paint for her cheeks. I drew a red heart for her mouth. I'm using a Sharpie paint pen here, which I love for crafting because they are oil-based. I added her eyes and her nose. And for her collar, I wanted some white lace, and the only lace I had around the house was on this Dollar Tree burlap ribbon. Luckily, it came off the burlap ribbon really easily. For her apron, I used a piece of that microfiber cloth, which you can find in the automotive section at Dollar Tree. I think we're getting to the end of this microfiber cloth. If you check out the rest of my Christmas videos that I've done this season, that microfiber cloth went a long way in all my projects. Then I attached some of that same ribbon that we used on the wreath. This is supposed to be like the waistband of her apron. I think it looks super cute. I had some old pillow stuffing and used a little of that around the top of her hat to represent her white hair. I think she came out adorable. Let me know in the comment section below what you think Mrs. Claus is busy doing up in the North Pole right now. I love that we're taking something that's trash and turning it into a treasure. You can use old cardboard boxes for this. I know a lot of us are using Amazon lately, so you probably have a lot of those sitting around. But I had made a command center a while back, and I had bought a huge frame, and this was the cardboard from the back of the frame that I didn't end up using for that project. So I did some tall houses and some wide houses to have more variety in my village. Here is the basic template I have in mind as I'm cutting out all my houses. I'm showing a tall house here with a 4-inch base, but to do different sizes, you keep the same template and just change the 4 inches to whatever size that you want. And if you want a more square house, then you would match the base with the height of the house. So if it's 4 inches on the bottom, you measure 4 inches up, and that's how you get a square house. I scored the inside edges very lightly, and then I folded so that the score mark ended up hidden on the inside. Just be careful not to score too hard. You don't want to cut this in half. I took these outside and spray painted them white, only on one side, because the inside is going to be hidden when we put the windows and roof on top. I used a piece of vellum on each window opening, and then I sealed up the house with some glue. I did a couple different styles of snow on the roofs of my houses. On this one, I used Mod Podge and then coated it with some sparkly snow. I added a door and a little tiny wreath that I put together with some spare garland and berries. For this roof, I added some of that microfiber cloth. I think this is the last of that. And then where there was some extra paper showing, I just added a little Mod Podge and put some of that sparkly snow on those empty spots. And here you have a gorgeous Christmas village essentially made from trash. I love a good flip. This little guy was $20 at Kirkland's, but we will be making him for under $5. Here are some of the items I picked up at Dollar Tree for this project. First, we're going to put together the snowman's top hat. I used some styrofoam and roughly cut out a couple circles and glued them together. Next, I took the lid of a mason jar and I wrapped it with the black felt that I found at Dollar Tree. I also wrapped the top of the hat and added the top part with some hot glue. I snipped away any rough edges and then I attached the two pieces together. I found this joy ornament at Dollar Tree, and I thought the small little piece of garland on top would be a really good size to finish off the snowman's hat. I added some ribbon and then attached the garland. I want this snowman to stand on his own, so I had to flatten out the bottom of the styrofoam. Now the snowman looked good as he was, but I thought adding a little bit of extra sparkly snow wouldn't hurt him. So I used this iridescent snow that I found at Dollar Tree. It's really pretty and sparkly. It does get everywhere though, so make sure to put it in some sort of controlled area like I've done here. I just used some Elmer's glue on the body and then I rolled him around in the snow. To be honest, I kind of felt like I was making chicken parmesan. Just dredging the little guy in the snow there. While that dried, I grabbed my Sharpie paint pen in black and I used that to color the button type stickers. These will be his buttons and eyes. Now for the finishing touches, I got those sticks off of a tree in my front yard. His nose is just a stick that I broke at an angle and I used a little orange paint on it. Let's take a look at the comparison and how much we saved. What do you guys think? I just love when I can make something that is much cheaper than the original. So let's do another one. I've been wanting to make an advent calendar for a while now. So when I saw this one at Kirkland's, I thought it was really neat the way that it had a magnet that you can move from one day to the next. It is $15, but we are going to make ours for only $3. I had this Dollar Tree canvas from a previous project and I painted it black, a couple coats of black paint, and it was nice and solid. I attached some buffalo check ribbon that I had to the edges to create a kind of frame. Then I felt that the sides looked bare, so I added some pretty edging. I found this one at Dollar Tree. I want this to stand on its own, so I added some craft sticks to the back and those acted as a stand. I used the other half of the garland from the Joy ornament and I added a small bell. I had two tiny magnets and I was planning on adding one to the back of the garland and then one behind the canvas. But the garland must have some sort of metal in it because it was already magnetic. So it sticks to the magnet behind the canvas all on its own. I love hearing from you guys, so please leave me a comment letting me know what you're thinking of all these dupes. So let's see the comparison on this one. I think we did pretty good. $16 for the set of 2 present ornaments. I loved the look with the buffalo check and thought that they would go really well with the other decor that I made. But I know we can do way better than $16 to make these. I had made these little blocks for a Thanksgiving project and we are going to upcycle them for these ornaments. These are just plain unpainted blocks that you can find at Dollar Tree. I started by trimming this buffalo check ribbon that I had to size, and then I glued it into place. I like to use the wooden skewers from Dollar Tree to help me get the hot glue in place. Using this really helps me from burning my fingers. Okay, next I trimmed off any little strings and then I added a burlap ribbon. I had never seen these garland ties before, so I had to pick those up. I plan on using these to make custom-sized garland for my upcoming Christmas projects. And they were really easy to trim to size, and I just glued some berries on top for the finishing touch. I also added a string so that when I get my Christmas tree up, I will be able to hang them on there. Let's take a look at the original compared to my version. Another awesome savings. So I'm going to add some red to this white wreath that I had created. I'm going to start by popping off this bow. We'll cover up any tears on the felt with our new design. Okay, now we're going to use this Dollar Tree felt to make some poinsettias to add that pop of red that I want on this wreath. I'm going to start by cutting basically a starfish type shape and then adding more petals individually. I thought it would be fun to give you a little bit of Christmas history as we create these projects. So the tradition of poinsettias started with U.S. Minister to Mexico Joel R. Poinsett in 1828 when Christmas festivities in the U.S. were beginning to take off. When he first saw the flowers known as Flor de Nochebuena or Christmas Eve flower, and he saw them as a symbol of the holiday season. Wreaths were actually invented by accident. Rather than discarding the clippings from freshly cut and pruned Christmas trees, 16th century Christmas goers salvaged the excess boughs and turned them into wreaths. These wreaths were originally placed not on doors like we do today, but on the tree itself as an ornament symbolizing eternity because of the loop shape. Now, why do we always bring on the red and green during Christmas time? The colors are thought to be inspired by the paradise tree, which is a fir tree with apples that was used as a prop in the Paradise Play, which is an 11th century play about the Christian view of creation. The tree represented the Garden of Eden, and the red apples were a symbol of the knowledge that led to Adam's fall, and the green fir represented eternal life. Okay, so after gluing everything into place, I decided to use a black marker to give this felt flower a little bit of dimension. I originally did yellow centers on the poinsettias, but I changed my mind and I swapped them out with some white. I also decided to add a little touch of green with some felt leaves. I found this little tree at the Target dollar spot this year. I used it for my hot cocoa bar, but now I want to give it a mini makeover with a new stand and some cute miniature ornaments. Oh my gosh, wait until you see the ornaments that I'm making. They are so adorable. I found this bucket at Dollar Tree and we're going to decorate it as a little Christmas tree stand. We're going to use some rope that I also found at Dollar Tree. I thought the red and white looked so festive. If you're new here, my name is Maria and I make simple, low-cost DIYs. If you love home decor, dupes of expensive items, and you love Dollar Tree like me, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and then that way you'll know when my next DIYs go up. So a little history on Christmas trees. In 1605, a fir tree was brought inside and adorned with paper roses, candles, nuts, and fruits, which was groundbreaking at the time. The idea of decorating a tree indoors took off and spread across Germany. Legend has it that while walking home from the woods one night in the 16th century, Martin Luther was so moved by the sight of the stars shining above the evergreens that he recreated the look at home by adding small lit candles to the branches of a fir tree he had cut down. Before lights or candles were added, we still loved the idea of lighting up a tree, and foil was used to reflect the light. The earliest tinsel was used in the 1600s and they used real silver. In the 1800s, German immigrants brought the tradition to America. Let's see how the Christmas tree stand came out. I think it kind of looks like those woven basket tree collars. There are so many different ways that you could decorate these little Dollar Tree buckets, but I just love how this came out. Okay, now that we have our stand completed, let's make the cutest little mini hat ornaments. I'll show you two different ways to make these. You'll start with a piece of poster board and just tape it into a little ring. I cut some strips of yarn into the same length. Then loop each piece of yarn individually around the cardboard. Keep going until the cardboard is all filled up with the yarn. The popularity of Christmas trees and ornaments skyrocketed during the reign of Queen Victoria. Decorated Christmas trees became quite a fashionable thing to have in England and America. Early ornaments were made out of whatever items families had available to them. Things like fruit, especially apples, nuts, strings of popcorn and cranberries, paper streamers, candles, and metal foil were all used. Store owners also began to see the business potential in Christmas ornaments. F.W. Woolworth, who started Woolworth Stores, he visited Germany in the 1880s and decided to import glass ornaments to sell in his stores. Most of these glass ornaments were made in Germany until after World War II. Hallmark's keepsake ornaments began in 1973, marking a yearly tradition for many families. Next, I tied off the hat to make the fluffy top. Another way to do this is to flip it around. If there are any loose pieces of yarn when you flip it around, just hot glue those down. When you add a pom-pom, it will hide any of the glue. I found this polka dot ribbon at Target. I looped the ribbon back and forth and then cut 2 slits in the middle and tied the ribbon with some floral wire. I fluffed the ribbon and then used some hot glue to attach this bow to the little tree stand. Now it's time to decorate our tree. I had made these pink candy canes, but I want to remake them into a fun candy cane sign. Another German Christmas tradition, the candy cane originated around 1670. Designed to help children sit still during Christmas services, the candy was shaped like a J to represent crooks of the shepherds that visited baby Jesus. Original candy canes had no flavoring or color and were essentially just sugar sticks. After disassembling these, I gave them a coat of white spray paint, just in case any of the red and white rope doesn't cover what's behind it. I found these at Dollar Tree and they originally had some M&M type candy inside. I used some of that rope from earlier and just wrapped these candy canes. I used a little bit of hot glue every once in a while just to secure it in place. This is actually just a stove cover that I found at Dollar Tree. These come in a set of 2 and I've used them for some other projects. They're really handy. I want to make it look like it's a peppermint, so I gave it a coat of white spray paint and then I just hand painted the red parts. I used a small paintbrush to get the details and then the foam paintbrush to fill in the larger spots and smooth out the details at the end. I had these little foam ornaments from Dollar Tree and I painted some of them red and then left the others white. We will use these to finish off the edges of the sign. I used a skewer to hold them and make it less messy to paint. I made another bow with that polka dot ribbon and I'm going to use this on our sign. I started by cutting some craft sticks at a 90-degree angle to make the sleigh rails. Now that we have the sleigh rails made, I'm going to start working on the top part of the sleigh. I just freehanded the shape onto the foam core and then traced that piece to get the other side. I created the center pieces and then attached everything together with some hot glue. I attached the rails with a few more pieces of craft sticks, and then I painted the rails white and the rest of the sleigh pink. Now every sleigh needs a soft, fuzzy arm rail, so we are going to make one out of this Dollar Tree microfiber cloth. I found this in the automotive section. A lot of you guys had suggested this as the fur for my Pottery Barn reindeer project, and you guys were right. This is such a soft piece of fabric. I think it would be great in a lot of projects. I wanted to add a little wreath to the side of my sleigh, so I cut some Dollar Tree florals up and put this little garland together. Those little tiny berries or ornaments or whatever they are, they come in a really big bag and in lots of different color combinations over at Dollar Tree. Now I wanted this sleigh to be carrying a Christmas tree, and I thought I would take this little Dollar Tree miniature tree, which came in a pack of 2, and I painted it pink. Now give yourself some space when you're doing this painting here, because something about the combo of a foam brush and this spiky tree made pink paint fling everywhere. So just warning you, give yourself some space. I thought the white and silver ornaments would look cute, but I wanted a few sparkly seafoam green ones as well. So I painted a few that pastel shade and then stuck them in some fake snow and let them dry. You can find the wooden sticks and floral foam at Dollar Tree. It was a handy way to let them dry. I added a little glue and then pushed the ornaments into the now pink tree. And the final step for this sleigh is to decorate the inside. You could put whatever you want in here. Full-size ornaments, candy, florals, whatever your heart desires. What I ended up doing is putting a few pink florals in and a white boa from Dollar Tree, and I thought that was the perfect soft bedding for the pretty pink Christmas tree. So I'm not doing my whole house in pink decor for Christmas, but I will have one little spot probably in my home office where I will feature all of these decorations. Let's make some shabby chic candy cane ornaments next. I saw these at Dollar Tree. They have what look like M&Ms in there, but the label says chocolate lentils. I thought lentils were a type of bean. You'll also need this wired burlap ribbon. I wrapped the ribbon around the emptied candy cane, and don't worry about the top and the bottom until the end. I tried to wrap the ribbon evenly so that the wired edges were spaced somewhat equidistant apart. I picked up all these pink ribbons from Dollar Tree. You can find these near the Florals. You could do these in any color combo that you like, but since we're going for shabby chic today, I went with the simple pink satin ribbon. For extra adornment, I doubled up the pink satin ribbon with the off-white lace and created a bow, which I finished off with some garland. The final step is to add a little string to the top so that you can hang this on your Christmas tree or wherever else you want to hang it in your home. I pushed aside the pink ribbon and held it there with a wooden skewer while I added some glue. Then I laid down the string, and once that dried, I put the ribbon back over the string and it hid all that string and the glue. And here you have some elegant burlap candy canes. Let's make a fluttery ombre Christmas tree next. I started by taking some poster board that I found at Dollar Tree and I cut a semicircle. I love that you can make this tree as big or as small as you want. Your cutting does not have to be perfect here because you will trim off any excess after forming the cone. I added a piece of packing tape to seal it up, and then I just trimmed the bottom to make sure that it was standing up straight. We'll be covering all of this up, so don't worry about how it looks at this stage. I had made this little block for a Thanksgiving DIY, and I'm going to be upcycling it as the base for our ombre Christmas tree. These come as unfinished wood cubes at Dollar Tree, and they're just a great size for all kinds of DIYs. I started by finding a drill bit around the same size as the wooden dowel. I went outside and gave that dowel and the cube a coat of white paint, and while the base was wet, I added some snow to it. Then I added a dollop of glue to secure that dowel in place. They have these boas in the kids' toys section at Dollar Tree, so I picked up a few in pink and white. They had several other colors, so you could do whatever color combination that you like. So I cut the feathers off the boa and started at the bottom of the cone. The hot glue dries really quickly, so I worked with just 1 or 2 feathers at a time. This is so messy. There were feather bits flying everywhere, and I had to do a serious vacuuming after this project was over. But hey, it wasn't as bad as the paint flinging cleanup from earlier. Now, to get that ombre effect, when I got to the middle, I slowly started adding just a few pink feathers. And then I transitioned to all pink towards the top. I added a lot of glue to the top of that dowel, and I placed the cone right on top and held it there until it was dry. And here we have an elegant, shabby chic, borderline glam Christmas tree. I got this bag of pom-poms from Dollar Tree, but some of the smaller ones you'll see me use I had from a huge Amazon pom-pom bag that I had bought a while back. I wanted the background to look like shiplap. So I took a thin paintbrush and drew some lines on it. After that dried, I hot glued some pom-poms in the shape of a Christmas tree. And then I added a few wooden cubes for the tree trunk. I found all of these items at Dollar Tree, so this was super cheap and fun to make. This one is my absolute favorite. I took a foam floral ring and wrapped this Dollar Tree yarn around it. I added a couple white and silver pom-poms, and this wreath is just so simple and elegant. I love how fuzzy and festive this looks, and it reminds me of snow. If you were inspired by these Christmas crafts, then don't forget to subscribe because I do home decor ideas every week. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a creative day. Bye!